Ursa is probably the strongest pub carry right now, and also one of the most misunderstood. He's one of my best heroes. I probably gained the most MMR on him out of any hero in Dota, and I'm really hyped to give you the sauce on him. First thing is that most people think that he's this really strong lane dominator, which he is, but not early. You're actually very weak at levels 1 and 2, and you need to play safe and just survive until you become strong in the lane. Most Ursas will grief by trying to do too much too early and then not being in a position to get an advantage when you are strong. Which, speaking of that, your lane timings are level 3 with boots when you have 2 levels in Fury Swipes, and then level 5 with phase boots when you have 3 levels in Fury Swipes. The level 5 is much more powerful than the level 3, but the level 3 is also strong. At these 2 points are when your damage will feel devastating and when you can actually go on enemies and kill them. And if you're not on one of these timings, chances are you should probably just chill in the lane and then be aggressive when you're on them. Obviously, there's more nuance than that, but if you just follow that formula, it's enough to get you to like 7k MMR. Now, in a more macro sense, the biggest mistake that people make on Ursa, ironically, is also trying to do too much too early, just like in lane. Ursa is actually one of the fastest farmers in the game with Battle Fury, and he scales really well. So there's no need to do anything crazy. And when you get your Battle Fury, you barely want to show up to fights because you farm so fast. So the cost of showing up to a fight is really high because you're missing out on a lot of farm that you could have been getting. And you're very squishy at that point in the game, so the chances of dying are very high. And you're going to be much more effective with the Blink Dagger. So just take the 2 minutes, be completely AFK, and get the Blink. Don't show up to fights with just Battle Fury. And even when you get the Blink, you should really only make plays with just naked Battle Fury Blink if the enemies are making themselves easy for you to kill. Or like if your teammate with a stun connects to you on a side lane. But it's going to be mostly on side lane because if you go mid, enemies can connect really fast and it'll probably turn into a team fight, which is what you don't want, right? Your default mode of operating should just be to go hit Ancients until your main timing, which your main timing in the game, and take notes, is Battle Fury, Blink, Basher, Shard, and Aegis. So notice how Aegis is a part of this because Ursa can take Roche very reliably. So this should be part of his formula. Okay, this is the sauce right here. You don't need a BKB before Basher if you have the Aegis, because you have a second life. This serves as your survivability. And then at this point, you blink on heroes and you one-shot them. You're more okay team fighting. And at this timing is typically when games get blown wide open on Ursa and you just win. You just start killing everything. You need to plan for the Aegis, right? Think about where Roche is going to be when you get your Basher, when you want to take it, and make it happen. Speaking of team fights, this is the playbook for Ursa. You basically want to blink, kill somebody, then kite back and wait for your next blink, and then kill somebody again. Ursa's jump is much more devastating when you're surprising the enemy, and typically like walking forward straight at enemies will not work. Your first instinct after blinking in and killing somebody needs to be to kite back, always, right? Because his power comes from jumping unsuspecting targets. He gets kited really easily if you're not doing this. It's kite or be kited in the Ursa world. And honestly, the Dota world in general. Again, of course, there are exceptions, but this is the default. And speaking of the jumps, your jumps need to be very precise on Ursa. You need to blink right on top of enemies because you want to give them the smallest time window possible for them to react. Last thing on Ursa is that he doesn't hit buildings at all. Just the nature of the hero, he does no damage to buildings ever. So the way you win on Ursa is by killing. And after you kill somebody, after you win a fight, instead of going to hit a tower, you run across the map and you kill somebody else. But it's funny, Valve is very intentional with their hero design because Ursa is very good at killing. And because of this, because you don't take towers, you're going to need to kill the enemy a lot before you win the game. But in pubs, this honestly works out for the better. You just demoralize the enemy so hard that they basically give up. That's it. That's all you need to know to have like an 80% win rate on Ursa. Have fun out there. Ursa's so fun. And if you want more help, I do coaching, and the link for more information will be in the description.